Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene is going to be set in a dark alleyway that is located just opposite the Beaumont Hospital, located somewhere towards the northwestern edge of the city of Dublin. The vampire community has been called here on a request from Sheriff Hennessy in order to ascertain why it is that certain blood bags that have been procured for this hospital are proving to be entirely inedible to the kindred community. As a matter of fact, not only inedible, but rather, causing the kindred to vomit up what blood remains in their system more aptly. So, with this in mind, we shall gather. It is as if it is as if that's really loud. It is, as I mentioned, it is a dark alleyway behind an Italian restaurant, so you can smell that kind of vague remains of the pizza or the pasta of the day. My God, these people use far too much garlic. It's not even funny.
Pizza time.
Pizza time.
I was going to say, are they playing the pizza theme from Spider-Man 2?
Possibly. So, as you round the corner to come down the alleyway, you will notice a figure who's kind of sitting. He's kind of half kneeling, half sitting, next to a dumpster. He appears to be. He's very clearly waiting for you. The small figure. He only stands at about 5'2". As you get up, he kind of springs up onto his feet before looking towards you all. Oh. Yes. It is. Hello. Yes, he mumbles all of that.
Hello there.
The seneschal told me that I should wait here for you in order to escort you inside.
Evan, did I show up with Sketch or did I show up with everybody else?
You can show up with Sketcher if you'd like.
That's good. So, walking out of the door behind Sketcher is a very unassuming, very plain man wearing a white lab coat and looks like kind of an older suit. He'll adjust his glasses and say, "Oh, have our guests arrived, Sketch?"
It's, for the record, it's not Sketch, it's Sketcher.
Oh,
so there's
sorry, Sketcher. Have our guests arrived?
Yes, Primogen, they're here. Forgive me for this is the Primogen of Clan Nosferatu, Mr. Michael or Doctor Michael Brightman.
He'll just give a very friendly, genial smile and say, "You did very well, Sketcher. I'm very proud of you."
I have to take. Well, I'm going to take you inside in order to go and see the body that my masters or my sire spoke about. Is that okay with you all?
That is fine.
Lead the way.
I have no issue with this.
Then kind of nods and gives the sup nod to Michael.
Sup nod will be returned, and fist will be extended for the fist bump that David taught him how to do.
Fist bump.
Okay.
Can I pat Sketcher on the back as we walk in?
If you attempt to touch him, he will basically just dart. He'll fly like 5 feet away to avoid being touched. Like it's
Okay.
just a.
He did literally grab the back of my coat at one point.
Oh, you mean Sketcher? Yeah, he's okay when he initiates it, not when it's initiated on him.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Essentially, yes. It's more so. It's a mental. It's quite common with people who are on the autism spectrum. It's a mental preparedness. If they're prepared for it, they don't mind. But if it's done randomly, it freaks them out.
Oh. Okay.
But he'll kind of say, oh, okay, if you can all please stay together and don't wander off. I'm going to make it so that you can't be seen because we're going to be going into the area itself has been prepared for us to look into. or to perform the autopsy, but the seneschal didn't want to necessarily exert the influence required to have the areas of the hospital closed down. So we're going to be walking in, but they won't be able to see you. Is that okay with everyone?
I reckon so.
Evan, real quick, am I using my health influence to get in here?
No, the seneschal's done it.
Okay, I just didn't know if I needed to exert mine because I do have 3.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Evan, is it too late for me to jump in?
Nope. They're just about to head off into the. They were just about to head off into the hospital, so you arrived just in the nick of time.
Sweet. Okay.
Would you like to do your intro? I need to just go and refresh my cup of tea before we continue.
Well, Bruce arrives kind of at the nick of time, and he's waiting outside patiently.
Yeah, we're all gathered outside, so when you show up, Michael will give a wave over.
He'll walk over.
He's going to motion to Sketcher. This is Sketcher. He is a member of my clan. He is also the child of Seneschal Hennessy. He's going to be escorting those of you who cannot obscure yourselves into where we're going. I actually was able to get jurisdiction to be here thanks to the Seneschal, so I don't have to disguise myself. Well, no more than I usually do. You know, Nosferatu and all. I kind of have to, otherwise I'm a walking breach of the masquerade, you know, and it's not good for a Primogen to be a walking breach of the masquerade. It never really is. And I'm... What?
Starting to ramble again, but...
Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Michael just smiles and just nods.
Yeah. To be honest, like, you know, my character's alright because he just has to wear a beanie. Like, he's just some dude in, like, really old-fashioned clothes and, like, a really chill beanie to cover his ears.
So what you're saying is you look like every kind of old... I was going to say, what's saying is you're like some really old Rasta dude who's just, like, sitting there going...
I'm about to drop the fattest mixtape available.
Yeah, so... Sketcher, whenever you're ready, you can lead them in. If do you need, he's going to actually he's actually going to do not sign to Sketcher, saying, "Do you need me to cloak anybody myself?"
He does a quick bit of mental arithmetic. So hang on, how many people are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. He'll point at one of them, and he'll just indicate if you could take one of them, he can handle the rest.
I'll make a motion saying, I will take the gangrel and the venture so you don't exert yourself too much. They're my coterie mates anyway.
Okay. He'll respond with a nod of his head. He will turn back and he'll say, okay, so it's very important that you not physically interact with your surroundings, or that you don't, how would I phrase this, that you don't speak or make any verbal sound. You'll be able to perceive the rest of you whom I'm taking in, but you'll be able to perceive them, but no one will be able to perceive you. You also won't be able to perceive the individuals who my Primogen is taking inside, but we'll meet them when we get to the operating level in the sub-basement. Does anyone have any questions?
I'm gonna offer Sketcher a small piece of paper after rummaging around in my coat.
Okay, what's on the piece of paper?
It's a self-help pamphlet. Your stutter and you, getting over it in 10 easy steps.
Oh my god.
I carry pamphlets for all kinds of shit in my coat.
He kind of looks at the Primogen like, what do? He's not sure how to. He doesn't know how to brain.
Michael will take a look at the pamphlet, and then we'll say, we can talk about it later if you would like, Sketcher.
Oh, okay. He puts the pamphlet in his coat. Okay. I think that we're good to go. Yes. So, if I could ask all of you to please close your eyes. Thank you.
Michael will nod to Bruce and to David to do the same thing. And he'll just say, remember the valley?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm using Unseen Presence on the two of them. I don't need to use it on myself because I am allowed to be here. So
That's fine. He will activate mask, or he will activate whatchamacallit, he will activate unseen presence on you guys with Cloak the Gathering. He will then you'll see, some of you will see Sketcher gesture, as in, come, move, run on. He doesn't run, but he has this weird he moves in quite a fast little as I described it once, a scuttling pace.
and I will move in with the other two, just kind of a soft motion, basically kind of saying, since he has to be cloaked himself, I don't have to be. I can actually say to the air, it's okay if you guys follow behind me, and I'm just going to walk in.
Okay. It's a pretty sedate night in the hospital. The A&E department, where most of the trauma, etc., is dealt with, is on the other side of the building, so it's not exactly a huge issue for you guys here. There's only the occasional staffer, a janitor, a nurse, maybe a doctor. You see maybe one doctor as you kind of wend and twist your way through the building at night. Because Michael can actually be here, he will be the one who's opening doors, etc. You all kind of just file past him through the doorways that he opens. You will be led down into the sub-basement. The basement itself is clearly it's clearly where all of the maintenance takes place. Sketcher will indicate a boiler room door that says "out of order" on it, and it's covered. Basically, the door is sealed with a really heavy-duty padlock and a key code. He will then unobfuscate himself as you see him remove a key from his the inside of his robes. He will unlock the door. He will key in the code. Does anyone want to try and observe the code as he types it in, or are we all good?
I will observe said code.
Okay.
Because I am intelligent boyo, and it's what I do.
Okay. The code is 667234.
Awesome.
But the door will then slide open as he pushes it in. As you guys step inside, you will see a fully kitted out, very state-of-the-art surgical operation theater that is clearly not a boiler room. Sketcher will close the door behind him, or will close the door behind you all when you all step inside, and he will say, "You can talk now."
I'll relinquish my cloak.
My sire has a number of these rooms in a number of different buildings to make it so that he's able to perform what tasks he feels needs to be done in these places in a rather more, how would I say?
Clandestine.
Thank you, manner.
I've been in this room before, haven't I?
Not this one, but he has ones he has another one in the Blackrock Clinic that you've been to, which is another hospital.
Does he have one at my zoo? Because I would have offered him one if he wanted one.
He doesn't necessarily need one at the zoo, but he has thanked you for his ability to have one.
Okay.
As I said, this is pretty state of the art for those of you who have medical. For those of you who have medicine, it's got a lot of incredibly up to date analytic and diagnostic equipment in here. So no expense was spared in the creation of this room, ostensibly. Now, for the purposes of Connor, on the operating table, you will see a man who appears to be middle aged. He is got a fine blonde coiffed beard, and he has a fine coiffed blonde beard, and he has a very well maintained, kind of almost like a mullet style hairdo. He's not thin by any means. He's kind of going to the realm of being overweight, yeah, the body itself does not look in any way descript to you or any way interesting, but it is laying there, and Sketcher will say, I hope that this is acceptable, Doctor.
This is exceptional.
I will pass your compliments on to my sire. I'll be over here If you need me. You'll see him sit down. He kind of scrunches down very, very small next to the door, and you see him. He takes a graphics tablet out of his, basically out of the folds of his coat, and he starts to play with it.
I love Sketcher.
He's apparently really popular, and I don't know why.
I want one.
He's not. You cannot catch them all.
Oh.
Just like Seneschal, can I ask for a great boon? Just like, what do you want? I should be like, Gib.
Gib Sketcher. Also, there are 3 blood packs in the room as well that are apparently from this individual. And the reason this individual, for the record, as you approach, you will immediately become aware this guy's been stabbed, a single stab wound, right through the ribs into the heart. So you can assume he was killed just so he could be dissected by you guys.
I gotta love the Seneschal's flair for innocuity. I think that's a word.
Innocuity is, but yes. So, but there is, as I said, there are blood samples that have been taken. You can see them chilling in a kind of in an open topped or in a glass topped freezer rather. So, yeah, the diagnosis, Mr. Fletcher, is up to you. How would you like to proceed?
Well, firstly, Connor is going to remove his jacket and change into something a bit more appropriate for the operation.
You will. I was going to say, you will find that there is, in fact, surgical white lab coats and smocks that are available.
Michael will actually put on a lab coat and a smock, and he'll change out his lab coat, too.
Dave's just going to stand back and watch.
Is there any... Sorry, I know this is Connor's scene. I'm just trying to think how best I can help out.
Mm-hmm.
Just Connor, does your character have any background in genetics?
I do not believe so.
Okay. Is there any genetic? Is there anything here like a mass spectrometer or genetic resequencing system? Anything that I can use to scan the blood itself?
Yes, there is a mass spectrometer.
Okay, I will take a syringe. I will remove a portion of blood, and I will move it over to the mass spectrometer and begin analyzing it.
Okay, cool. So with that in mind, Connor, what do we do once we are dressed appropriately?
If we begin the autopsy.
Make the dissection cut down the middle. You got a saw.
I was going to say, that has a name, and I can never remember what it is, where you actually cut to the sternum.
It's like bisection.
It's called the what? It's either that or it's the white cut incision, where you do a top and then down.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, with that in mind, you do indeed. Would you like to make me a dexterity medicine check to begin your incision?
Certainly.
Just gets out a chainsaw. All right, let's get this over with.
Walks over, pulls out GCSE biology book. Let's do this.
I've got BTEC in sports, guys.
There's the penguin.
It's okay. We'll have none of your filthy Thanos worship around here. No, not Thanos. It's what's his name? Talos. There you go. Brains. I can use it.
Which Talos? The one from Skyrim or the one from Forgotten Realms?
All of the above. Totally all of the above.
May assume difficulty 6.
Yeah, difficulty 6.
I mean, shit. According to his art, the Sketcher does look rather similar to a high elf.
I can
see it.
4 successes.
All right, you make a beautiful incision.
That was actually 5, but I got a 1.
I'm going to continue raising the question: why is a Brujah? I want to say gaslighting as a surgeon, but that's not really right. Why is there a Brujah surgeon who has done nothing Brujah-y in the time I've known him?
Okay, I've got. What the fuck is Brujah? That doesn't make any. That doesn't make any sense as a statement.
I mean,
Hyphenate it.
Brujah are also known as scholars. So
The warrior poets.
I'd say they're warrior poets, not that.
All I'm gonna say is you don't get to choose who sighs you, do you? You know, sometimes you're a happy doctor, you do happy go doctor things, and then you get embraced by a gangrel because fuck you, you know.
But anyway, moving on. Like I'm just pointing out, Connor being a doctor is not at all unusual. That's as Liam or as Scott said. My apologies. You can't choose who sires you ultimately.
He is a wet noodle for Bruja, though, and I do find that a bit odd.
So he will make a beautiful incision. You will hear the as he has to crack open the ribs in order to get at the tender innards. Delicious innards.
Oh, Path of Death and Bones. Feels good, man.
Brian, calm down.
I'm just in the background, like there's just a fucking there's a tent pole in my fucking scrubs. Yeah,
For the record, Ryan, Sketcher kind of walks. He doesn't get up. He kind of holds up his tablet.
What is it you have here?
He has drawn you, and it's a perfect likeness.
Oh, that's charming. Honestly, you even got my freckles.
I've always liked people who look unique. I guess maybe yes.
Oh, thank you, Sketcher. That's rather great. Thank you.
So the first thing that becomes apparent as you crack open the rib cage is his heart is really, really distendedly large. As in, it looks to be about, the average heart should be able to fit in the palm of your hand. This heart would nearly fit in both of your hands if you cup them together. Like, it is almost comically large.
Fascinating.
Like Meet the Medic, with the baboon heart.
I'm gonna walk over and take a look at it. Since the mass spectrometer is still running its analysis, can I roll a science zoology check to see if I can figure out if it's human or not?
Yeah, you can make the check.
I have some, lures. Can I roll those?
Which one are you gonna roll?
Do you want me to go down the list again, Evan?
You have many lures. You do. You may have your soul for them, but by God, you have them. Go down the list and I'll see if any of them are applicable.
All right.
Difficulty. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. You were first.
What's the difficulty since my main specialization's zoological biology?
To determine if the heart is human? Was that your question?
Yeah.
Or
if it's some kind of animal heart. Okay.
Difficulty 6. So what are your relevant lures, Anthony?
So I have thaumaturgy, dark thaumaturgy, Sabbat lore, Canite lore, Kindred lore, Camarilla lore, Redless
3
lore.
successes with willpower.
Yeah, I don't think any of those apply, unless it's something thaumaturgical in nature.
It is not. Brett, that is, yes. But based on the shape, the composition, etc., that is definitely a human heart, though it has been in some way grossly engorged.
Engorged as in grown, or engorged as in it grew to this point?
Engorged as in it grew to this point.
It works.
So no Sabbat lore on this, Evan?
No, it's not Sabbat lore. Fair
enough. Fair enough.
What's in the Google Drive you just linked?
No, the GIF. The one from Meet the Medic with the mega baboon heart that explodes.
Okay.
So Michael's going to look closely at it. Says it's definitely human, but it looks the size of something like an elephant or a giraffe heart. I should know. I've seen my share. But the composition, the size, the ventricles, the atrials, placement of the my brain's frying out on me, not Michael's. He's going into a long, detailed explanation because he actually can, and it's actually his character, of how that is a perfect human heart, just massively bigger.
Okay.
At some point, somebody's going to have to tell him to stop rambling.
I would assume Connor is aware this is a human heart.
Yes, it is definitely a human heart. Would you like to cut open the human heart?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just gonna keep cutting till there's nothing left to cut.
Cut. Would you like to roll me another Dex medicine check?
I do. Two successes this time.
Okay. You are able to cut into the sinewy expanse of flesh and muscle that is the heart, in which case something really you managed to cut it open. You basically cut it to the point where you cut the top off it so you can get a top down view, if you understand me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so fun fact for those of you who might not remember your high school biology, the heart has 4 chambers: the left and right ventricle and the left and right what the fuck's it called? Atrium. There we go.
Atrium.
Yeah. So there are 4 chambers in the human heart. This heart, however, has 5 chambers. There's an odd 5th, much smaller chamber, roughly around the size of your thumb, basically of the top of your thumb from the knuckle up in the center of the heart that the blood is being fed through.
Show off.
That has never been encountered in any mammalian species I've ever examined.
Normal human heart, you said?
Like I said, it has the atriums, it has the aorta, it has the ventricles, it has the pathways, but this, I've examined apes, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, monkeys, simians of every species. None of them have ever had something like this.
Evan, would I have run across anything similar to this during my medical career?
No, God, no. This is entirely odd. Can you, Connor, can you make me a perception medical check?
I can certainly do that.
Should I make one too, or is it outside of my area of expertise?
It's for him because he's the one holding the scalpel.
Okay.
Do you possess all specs, Connor?
I do.
Would you like to activate it?
Yes.
Okay. It'll give you sweet minuses on this. So it was originally going to be difficulty 8, but it's now going to be difficulty 8 minus whatever levels of all specs you have.
Okay. Yay. Five successes.
Sorry, you become immediately aware this is very peculiar. As you are cutting through the heart, you can actively see, despite the fact the body is very dead, based on the fact that it has no pulse, it has no pulse, it has been physically eviscerated. The skin, the muscular tissue of the heart, and indeed the suture wounds that you made in order to, shall we say, spread eagle the body, basically, are very slowly regenerating.
Well, that's not fucking normal. The body appears to be regenerating.
Regenerating?
Does this like mimic like Kindred regeneration? Brett? Not Brett, Evan, sorry. I'm looking at Brett's face now.
It's fine. No, it doesn't. Kindred regeneration is based upon the premise of, in Vampire, you have a pool of blood, which is in general stored in your heart, though it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Oh.
And that blood is used to then heal grievous injuries. However, but it's also much faster than this. Bear in mind, if you have the blood, you can heal grievous wounds in seconds, but this is incredibly slow, and it doesn't appear to be drawing on any blood. It just seems to be ambiently doing it.
I'm going to return to the mass spectrometer.
Bruce will say that's not the way Kendrick do it.
Do you want me to roll my science?
Intelligence science, please.
Shut down.
Let's spend another difficulty 6.
Mm-hmm.
Spending another willpower. Damn, that one. 5.
Okay. So, I'm going to have to take you guys on a bit of a science trip. I apologize. Does anyone here actually study biology? Because I'm about to fucking butcher it if you do.
I have in the past.
I also have in the past.
I have as well.
I have currently. I'm a phlebotomist. Talk
I
to
was
me.
going to say, oh yeah, shit, you stick people for money.
Yeah.
You're like every heroin dealer's dream.
Unless it's been dead
not
for
quite.
30 million years. I don't have a clue.
All right, so in the human body, this is actually why they say that lobsters are immortal. Fun fact: there is a naturally occurring substance called it's called testosterone, I believe it is called. It is very difficult to pronounce. Basically, what it does is it prevents cells. When cells subdivide, it keeps the cells from fraying, thus preventing the cells from breaking down when they subdivide and when they divide. But the human body only produces so much of it, and it is only produced during our embryonic stage. So the body has a very small, finite amount of it. This body has a massive amount of it in the bloodstream, like as in 20 or 30 times that of an ordinary person.
This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. This is illogical.
Well, this entire event is illogical, but here we are.
This person is.
This makes no sense.
Gentlemen, I will point out the fact that we are vampires. This is hardly regular.
No, vampires don't even work this way. You don't understand.
Entirely.
I'm gonna turn back. I'm gonna say this body is producing so much testosterone, it should still be in the womb. Testosterone, sorry.
Testosterone. You're right.
I'm going to take. Is there? The anthropologist in my character is looking around for a carbon dating device.
Sure. A carbon dating. There is the ability to carbon date in this room. Yes.
I'm going to carbon date part of his internal structure.
Like I'm gonna. How carbon dating works in that manner is you will have to basically probably a finger. You'll have to break off a finger or cut off a finger. You will then have to use the bone in order for the bone to be carbon dated.
Right. Or could I ask to have him saw off a piece of the rib?
Yeah, you can do it as long as it's a piece of bone.
All right.
I was going to say I've already broken ribs.
Dr. Fletcher, could you remove a piece of the rib for me, please?
I can certainly do that.
Thank you. All right. Once it's done, I'm going to put it in the carbon dating device, and I'm going to check to see just how old this person is.
Okay.
Evan.
Yes.
Can I be jotting a few notes down? I feel a new paper for the National Institute of Medical Health coming on.
Sure. That's fine. Brett, what comes back is really, really odd. This body is clearly, visibly in its mid-30s. However, according to the mass spectrum, or not the mass, according to the carbon dating, the bone that you just removed is only about 7 or 8 months old.
I'm going to recheck the mass spectrometer. Is there evidence of strontium-90 in his bloodstream?
There is, in fact.
Good. Then that means that he's the age he's supposed to be. Strontium-90 doesn't exist in anything before the initial nuclear blast at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So I'm going to go take the bone piece back over and say this bone is only 7 months old.
I don't typically collect children.
I'm somewhat beginning to tie together a theory within my mind. Though I don't know how plausible it is.
You should hear some of my theories, but please go ahead, Doctor.
It is entirely possible that this individual has been artificially grown or aged.
Artificially created and enhanced in such a manner as to prevent cellular decay.
Well, if I could bring up a certain other clan who I detest greatly.
I am aware of the clan you are speaking of and their detestable disease that they pass off as a discipline.
It is entirely possible the individual we are looking at is more than just a single person. But I don't see exactly why they would do something like this other than to disrupt the Camarilla.
Well, if what you're saying is correct, then I would assume that this is not a normal kindred thing, as you were saying a minute ago. Are you sure this is of kindred quality?
It's not.
Well, then
It's
here we go.
not kindred regeneration. It's a form of regeneration that typically only occurs within invertebrates or crustaceans, like lobsters. It is actually common in jellyfish. All creatures that live produce testosterone. However, most mammalian or complex cellular life forms only produce it in the embryonic stage so that they can properly grow until they reach the point where their cells begin to collapse. This person, however old he is, should not have this much. I mean, it could be very well be this is what's distorting the blood, the chemical properties of the blood that's making it unpalatable.
Perhaps these animalistic traits might be the product of a changeling.
What's a changeling?
Excuse me. I was said. Would you guys find it at all helpful to see the personal effects this gentleman came in with?
Certainly.
Oh, okay.
That would certainly be of assistance.
Please, would the good doctor continue with the autopsy? I will go through his belongings.
If you see anything of anthropological significance, please let me know.
Absolutely.
Dr. Fletcher, a question.
An answer.
Breeding Norway rats for around 6 to 7 months last year, I too had to dabble in what I can only describe as artificial enhancements on young creatures. While rats, of course, are not not the most beautiful thing to work on, I know that it isn't anything that's very easy to pull off. So my question would be, is it possible for you to find either a way to disrupt or reverse engineer this in a way that would be beneficial?
It would take time to research, I'm sure, but it's not impossible.
Good. And if you should have any findings for that, I would be very interested in them.
Though if I were to research a way to reverse engineer this, I would like the assistance of... I can't remember your character's name, Brett.
Dr. Brightman.
Yeah. I would request the assistance of Dr. Brightman in this. He seems to be rather talented, to say the least.
Well, when you've been around as long as I have and spent most of it doing studying, you do end up with 3 doctorates, a master, and a bachelor's degree. Not to mention pre-med. But anyway, yes, I will be more than happy to help you in this regard.
All right. So for Ryan, Sketcher brings you through another small door that is located at the back of the room. This leads you into a small storage space. You'll see him kneel down as he basically presses buttons on a safe to enter another combination before he will stand up again. He'll say he came in regular, ordinary attire, just an overcoat, t-shirt, jeans, shoes, etc. But this is what was in his pockets. She will hold out he'll say there wasn't a cellular phone, but he had his wallet. He holds out his wallet, a set of keys, a key card, and There was a candy bar, I think, but I don't know where that's gone.
Can I rifle through the wallet?
I mean, it's just been handed to Ryan, so.
Yeah.
I'm asking if I may have the wallet.
I passed the wallet to him because I know he wants to do that because I'm a psychic link.
Good boy.
All right, I'm going to inspect the key card.
Okay. The key card is a security clearance card. It is for a group called Shaw Pharmaceuticals. And you see that.
Curious.
Would you like to make me? Do either of you have intelligence? Would you like to make either an intelligence finance or an intelligence politics roll?
I got
I got finance.
I got politics.
same.
I have politics and finance.
Politics will be difficulty 7. Finance will be difficulty 6. I'll be back in
Successes.
a moment. I just need to go to the bathroom.
So what was the intelligence plus finance or
Finance or politics?
Finance or politics, yeah.
This will be like a subsidiary of Pentex, is what I bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm kind of guessing the same.
It'd be like it would just be like, and the plots interweave.
I'm going to let the people with the actual more than one dot of politics or more than one dot of finance figure it out. Well, I'm going to go back to scanning his blood to see if there's anything else in there that's weird.
Yeah, just I don't even know how I put 2 in politics. Probably has something to do with the fact he's been here since the 60s.
Politics is highly useful. Don't ever discount it. It has so much stuff you can.
Yeah.
I'd say politics. If you have a 5 in politics, I believe the description is you could literally cause World War III.
Yeah. Making the right phone calls.
Yeah.
Building the right Clintons. I don't know if this is important, but you gentlemen probably already know who my character is because he has Elysium Regular, and I think it's I don't know what it's called. It's like the one where people know who you are because you've been here ages. Reputation.
Yeah. If you know the Malkavian Primogen, you probably know me as well, to be fair. I'm good friends with him.
Yes.
Yes. I have him on speed dial. That is how much friends I am with him.
It's like it just reminds me of what's that? It flushed away, a man of culture.
Yeah. I want to apologize. There's a fucking rat of a dog outside, and I'm going to shoot the fucking thing in a minute.
Little barking ass bitch.
Basically.
I don't know who doesn't have their Primogen on speed dial.
I know.
I mean, David doesn't keep himself on dial, so.
That's true. Michael does only because they're great for communicating while under obfuscate.
All right, kids. Sorry about that. So, for those of you who succeeded, which means getting 2 or more successes on the aforementioned roll, Sharon Pharmaceuticals is subsidiary of the Pentex Corporation.
I
Called it. Fucking called it.
If I do recall correctly, as a result of my research regarding the incident at the music stadium, I do believe that these are a subsidiary of the Pentex Corporation.
Why am I not surprised?
Yes, I had an inkling in the first place.
Hey, Evan, I'm going back to see if there's any more weird stuff in the blood. Just FYI.
If there's any money in the wallet,
Okay.
I'm taking it.
I assume that's also.
Are you literally robbing? Are you literally robbing this guy? Okay.
Yeah.
There's like maybe €30 in his wallet.
That's fine by me. That's a kebab on the way home and a blowjob from Kelly.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Liam. Like it's like the chocolate bar went missing. Sketcher. Where did the chocolate bar go? They do nothing.
I mean, come on, come on! Dragging a guy's on living body down here takes energy. He needed a chocolate bar.
You got to open a marathon bar, you know.
Just pull out my Kit Kat while I'm in the corner.
Get his boost.
Question, Evan. With 8 sexes on intelligence finance, with the specking and accounting, do I get anything extra, or just what you just said?
You will also get an additional. Sharon Pharmaceuticals is based in the United Kingdom, though one of their main product testing plants is located in Dublin. You would assume that is where this individual is guard over, because he is because the actual key card is for security staff. There you go.
I'll let you guys know the information.
Being the nabob of HSE Dublin, would I know perhaps where that testing is going on?
Yes, well, you have an idea where the facility is.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm gonna flex on my titles because why wouldn't I?
Yeah, I suppose you could just bust in with a pair of robes and dominate. Like you'd be like, "Look at me! I have the stupidest hat. Open the door."
Or with 5 levels of finance influence, I could just say we're doing a surprise audit. Let me in.
Yeah.
Or you could have the person that's the infiltration expert memorize his face and use it as Mask of 1,000 Faces.
Yeah. Just cable guy wearing a beanie. Oh shit! I should get one of my Razor Scout out. They're fucking invisible.
That's true. Yeah.
I can go through walls.
See how that works.
So he's definitely linked
You are
to
in a room.
Pentex. So he's definitely linked to Pentex.
Yes.
So does every single member of the member of Pentex come here? Because with the amount of blood that was coming out of this place, it can't all have just been one dude.
He did have a big heart.
No, actually, what you will find if you look over the hospital records, which Brett will be very easy to get you, is there was a blood drive at that particular Pentex Corporation headquarters. Basically, at Saarn Pharmaceutical, they were running a blood drive for basically blood for accident victims and people who were in need of transfusions, etc. So maybe that's how there was so much blood of a nondescript type that was introduced.
We need to locate any batch left of that blood and destroy it.
Yes.
I can tell you exactly now where these tests may be going on.
If it helps, those are the only 3 blood bags left of the actual blood repository that was previously located here. The Seneschal had the rest dumped in the incinerator.
Oh, good. Once I'm done with this, we can send those to join it.
Sketcher, my young artistic friend.
Yes.
The reference number underneath the batch number, whereabouts in Dublin would that indicate it's from?
Reference what is from, sorry?
Most blood bags have to be traceable back to where they were initially sourced.
Yeah, they were, well, the blood itself was stockpiled here in this particular hospital, but it was drawn at the identification number shows a blood drive that, as I say, took place at Shire Pharmaceuticals. So basically, they had a blood drive there. Blood was harvested there, that it was brought here.
Right, okay, so purely from, okay, yeah, that's fine.
It was interesting that, how was it phrased? The blood that was being transfused into ordinary subjects, but the blood was being accepted. It was only the fact that we couldn't drink it that raised suspicion.
but that didn't mean that it was unacceptable to other individuals who were being transfused with it.
So it still has all the normal proteins and other things for other creatures to use it, just as creatures of different makeup, so to speak, we have an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still curious how this enzyme's presence would affect those transfused with it. However, much of this protein enzyme should cause a reaction within ordinary humans, not to mention any animals that may have unintentionally absorbed it. I'm going to make another science check to see if there's anything else in there that would render it unpalatable.
Dr. Brightman, I need an opinion before you do that.
Yes?
I can have that place shut down in a matter of moments, but I need your opinion on one of 3 ways it can happen. The first, I can write a very simple hit piece explaining that there are unsavory chemicals being introduced there. We cause public uproar and the office closes due to, well, I imagine the uproar of the community. That is, of course, if I'm allowed to write a hit piece and display this publicly. Of course, I will negate the, well, where this blood has come from and the things being done to it. I'm sure I can pass it off as a enzyme, I don't know, an enzyme problem or something.
Relius, if I might interject just before you continue this, would it not be better to first of all find the origin and source of this situation before we go about writing any hit piece? After all, they're not aware that we have access to such a body in the first place.
There's also the fact that we don't know how this is affecting the local populace. We need to find somebody who was injected with this blood or transfused with this blood, and we need to do either an observation or a physical examination of the individual.
I would also like to interject that this company seems to be involved in a lot more of the other supernatural within the city, meaning that they have their fingers in many pies. It might be better if we moved in on them without them really letting them know that we were aware of their goings-on.
Well, you skipped right ahead to option number 3 then. It's very nice when I get to finish my explanations, but regardless.
There's also the fact that if he were to shut them down, then they might just smash and grab everything. You know, if they thought that the jig was up, then all of the material might just disappear.
Exactly.
That is why that is only one of 3 options, darling Sketcher, but you are indeed very useful.
Oh,
option number 3 then.
Option number 3, we play it very cool and we try and play this as close to the chest as possible. But mark my words, if this has any issue on the human populace, a masquerade falls over all our heads.
What would option 2 be? Infiltration?
Yes, option 2 would be, well, as you are the Nosferatu Primogen that I am to be told, option 2 is literally you send in a good few shock troops, and I don't care whether you want to call it sabotage or espionage or steal. You do what you have to do to stall them, but not so much that they are forced to flee and break down.
Sketcher kind of looks confused at Brett, and he signs the phrase. He uses Nos sign just to sign the phrase "shock troops," and he looks kind of genuinely confused at the concept.
Signing back. That's where your sire and a few of our bigger brothers go in there and just beat shit.
He then nods.
Suffice it to say, this is the most unnatural abomination to the laws of reality as it is, and I am very upset.
Just know that as soon as we strike that place, they will immediately know that we have caught on.
I concur.
Which is why somebody needs to get inside and get and look at their files. But first of all, Dr. Fletcher, do you have a practice, or do you work out of a hospital?
I have a practice, I believe.
Okay. We need to find a way to get you to do a physical examination of a few of the people that were transfused with this blood, if any of it had actually gotten out, which apparently it has. once we can figure out, we'll need to take genetic samples as well, blood, hair, tissue, things like that. Once we can figure that out, we can determine if it's necessary to go full beat switch on this, or just to find a way to get them out of the way. So going back to the my genetic scan. One. 4 successes this time. Is there anything else in there that's outside of human norm?
Not really.
Okay. Other than the testosterone, everything else is normal. Trace amounts of argon, helium, standard hemoglobin. He may have juiced a little though.
It wouldn't be hemoglobin, would it? Because that was the entire thing that ticked us off, wasn't it, Evan?
Oh, sorry about that.
Basically, the blood's a collection of basically, hemoglobin in the blood is odd. My apologies. Very little of it exists. Practically none of it. To the point that the blood must have been oxygenating itself in another way, but you're not exactly sure how.
It could be like, you know, what's that?
I'd just say oxygen, iron, argon, typical biological chemical components. So,
sorry, what were you saying, Scott?
Perhaps it could have been like, you get insectoids that like have a way of respirating, or they kind of just use their normal, like they don't need a respiration system with a bloodstream. They just kind of get it from it sucking into them.
I was gonna say, would Dr. Fletcher be able to take a sample of the lung and skin and do a biopsy on those?
I was gonna say biopsy the lung straight away.
Yep, you can do that.
Yay!
Dr. Brightman.
Yes, Dr. Relius?
Dr. Dougal will do fine. I'm Relius to my mother.
Dr. Dougal, then? I wasn't introduced to you before.
Not a problem. You're far more a biologist than I, so I will at least ask this in earnest. The closest relation, muscle, heart, bloodstream-wise, to a human is a pig, yes?
From a cardiopulmonary standpoint, yes. However, there are still common RH factors that are not found in porcine life forms, but are found in simian life forms instead.
Well, as I don't have a handy supply of gorillas around, maybe experimenting on pigs with this blood will at least give us what's the margin for error? 30% of what we'd need to know?
Hey, Evan. Michael just smiles. Don't have access to a large amount of gorillas, you say? Anybody want to do an intelligence science or intelligence medicine roll?
All right.
I get to fulfill my Mega Baboon Heart fantasy about the doctor from Team Fortress.
It's fine. You can die happy now, Scott.
But if anybody checks it, Dr. Brightman's form of specialty is simian and gorilla physiology. He's actually the head of primate research at the Dublin Zoo. But I can research some pigs as well. It's not a problem.
I'm just gonna like fucking wide mouth, tooth grin, smile.
Okay. So is that all that you gentlemen need with the body? Because I meant to send it down to the incinerator when you're done.
Sketcher, I do have an extra task for you, my little friend.
Okay.
When the body's burning, it's being incinerated, can you just check if that stops this little regeneration thing?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure I can.
Well, you've got a keen eye for art, so I trust it with this too.
Asks a vampire to stare into an incinerator.
I'm glad someone got where the joke was in that.
Dr. Fletcher, can you make sure that those genetic samples are preserved? I will probably need to compare them with any other samples you gain doing any kind of physical examination.
Certainly, and make sure they're kept in safe storage.
I appreciate it.
Yes. In regards to the scouting of this building, the Pentex subsidiary, I will have one of my friends on the other side make an assessment of the building itself. Yes, that was a fucking Disney joke. My character does not watch Disney. That was completely unintentional.
Yes.
I see if he can't get in the computers, though I doubt he'll be able to do this. Regardless, it'll still be useful.
Which brings us to our final point. Are we not supposed to meet with a representative of the Pentex Corporation at some point?
Yes, the meeting is scheduled as far as I know.
Then we must all play exactly oblivious to what has gone on here tonight.
I will put it, he is not a representative of Pentex. His family are known to have affiliations with Pentex.
Right. Even better.
So, Evan, quick question. What would the check be on the biopsy?
Oh, intelligence medicine.
Yay!
You can biopsy my lungs while you're at it.
Oh, wow. I hate my life.
That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Can I roll to assist?
No, you can't.
Damn.
Wow, that's 10d. Wow.
That
10d10, 0 successes.
Wow.
Methuselah's curse.
Wow.
Okay.
I have the Will Wheaton dice curse.
Those lungs are fine. What are you talking about? Mm-hmm.
These lungs are definitely not fine.
It's positively insectile.
But yeah, with that, as I say, Sketcher will put the body onto a gurney and he will wheel it off.
Awesome.
Fletcher? No, Sketcher.
Yes, Doctor?
Would I be able to accompany you?
To the incinerator?
Yes, if that isn't too much trouble.
No, I can take you.
Thank you.
Young love.
Have I done something? No, it's okay.
He will kind of deflate ever so slightly as he tried to inflate. It didn't end well.
I'll make sure leftover blood goes with them, and I'm going to save the syringe of the blood that I used for my initial examination and pack it with the rest of the genetic material that needs to be examined.
As he leaves, he kind of nods signs to Brightman. He says, "Have I done something to offend him?"
Nosign back. I don't know anything about him. Maybe you and I should talk with your sire later.
There's an okay. But yeah, he will wheel the body down to the incinerator with Dr. Fletcher. He will then basically he will make it so the two of you are unseen, because just in case you cross a janitor, because it might look slightly suspicious, wheeling a body down a corridor. So he will make it so that you are all unseen. Fun fact: if you have an obfuscate, you can make other things and objects unseen, which is pretty cool.
Which is what I'm working on.
Well, you can do it with 5.
Well, no, not with objects. You can't do it with objects. But what I'm working on is making my animal buddies unseen. So
there you go.
Wow, invisible gorilla chimp. That sounds like...
No. Invisible Gould attack gorillas.
Oh my god.
No, you guys are wrong. Invisible revenant alligators that look like poodles. Thank you very much.
I live in constant fear now. Thank you for that.
Can never sleep again. Can never sleep again.
Why does everything I love get destroyed right in front of me?
What you're saying?
Just so you're aware, I gave that pamphlet genuinely because I think it would help him get over his thing. I'm not being evil by doing that.
I know, it's how it's perceived is an interesting question. All right, so with that in mind, we shall end our scene. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.
Bye bye.